So, are we going to talk about the social media and its impact on hunting?
Yes, sir. The pros and cons of social media, the double edged
Yeah,
sword.
it is. It is. Getting into that business, huh?
Yep, yep. Uh, well, let's just get into it. Let's talk about how it's helped you and how it's not helped you in your hunting.
Yeah. Um, Man, it's an interesting business, you know, because you want to always be producing authentic content. You want to be real with your viewership. You want to keep places hidden. Um, it's not an easy task. It's not. It's it's been an interesting road for me the last year that I've been doing this with trying to juggle, I guess, the time, the effort putting into it, not wanting to, explode spots. And that's kind of what I learned real quick after one of actually our first video that Travis and I filmed. We had somebody tell me where I was at, and it was because of some topographic features, and that kind of shocked me a little bit. And so we had to make some changes from there on out on just making sure, like, yeah, we're on private property and the chances are people are not going to be, I guess, trespassing on private property, but you never know.
No,
But especially with like any of our public land spots, we've had to really, you know start to figure out how we can best, you know stay hidden, but also hopefully tell a good story.
now with Valley Project, how has that helped you as far as social media, like marketing the Valley Project?
Is your audio just seems a little down? Do I sound okay or no?
Yeah, how do I sound?
Just a little quieter.
How's that?
About the same.
Is your volume up on your computer
It
or your
is
headphones?
all the way up.
Hmm. How's that?
That's better.
Better?
Yep. Oh yeah,
Okay.
way better. Yeah, I
Okay.
think you just needed to point the top of your microphone at.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just edit that part out.
Yep, no worries.
Yeah. So how is now with social media and you with Valley Projects? How's that helped you, and what have you seen that's not been so good for the Valley Project?
Well, one is obviously people kind of start to know where you're at, where you like to go. I mean, we haven't done a whole bunch of public land stuff, but still, like, people do know. I've had quite a few comments of people knowing where I'm at, and I hate that. And I'm like, okay, I gotta do better. I gotta do better. And um, that's kind of the negative side that I've experienced. But the positives are, my goal is to not really become like some hunting influencer. I really want to grow a business. My Valley Project page is meant to be a portfolio for the outdoor community, and that way I can show potential clients things that I'm doing and have an avenue to, maybe market or advertise a little bit, or I don't know. I haven't quite figured all that out yet. But Valley Project is meant to be kind of a funnel for my business.
Right. Now, when have you made now using social media? Have you made some pretty good contacts as far as with Valley Projects and social media?
Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of what got me at least motivated to go talk to the Go Hunt guys. I was able to, land some that documentary gig with Charles from Howl. So my media company is now starting to do that documentary, which we're coming up on the end now, which is awesome. So got a couple other stuff with like Graxol. We have a little contract with them. Um, who else? I mean, obviously we did nothing actually contract wise with Oakstone yet, but that's hopefully on the agenda in the near future here. One of my team members is working on some of the reels actually right now, and the long form video. We're starting to get the ball rolling on that stuff. So things are coming together with that, and it's brought me to some cool places. I mean, obviously, if it weren't for Valley Project, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and I got to meet you. I've gotten to meet some of your other good buddies, and your outfitting businesses, and I mean, I've gotten to meet so many other cool people. It's so cool to finally like see my vision kind of coming to life through uh, social media. And same with the guy Dylan that we took pig hunting at Oakstone. He was a guy that reached out to me over Instagram and was like, "Hey man, I'd love to go hunting with you and try to figure out something that we can do." And I was like, "Perfect, man. Let's connect and see if we can make something work." And now he's a good buddy of mine. I mean, we talk all the time, and I'm gonna hang out with him again when I go down to Southern California. And it's just opened so many more doors than I would have thought. And if you can work social media in a way, I feel like there's so many good benefits to it. I mean,
Yeah.
how
So let me ask you this. So like, how did you work social media in your favor? Say getting in bed with like Charles from Howl, or like the hunting public you said that was coming out, go hunt guys. Like how did you market? So people that maybe are trying to figure out a way to market themselves in social media, like how did you do that?
that's a good question. So I saw a need. There's a niche here that I kind of saw, and I'm not obviously by any means dominating the market by any stretch of the imagination, but I saw that there was a lack of California content, and so I kind of just pursued that, and just kind of took that route, and it had to take over with money. I had to, if I was going to invest that much time, I needed to be actually making money from it. So that's just kind of like how it started. And starting to add the connections on top of connections, and like referral people. And I ended up meeting Charles's friend Mark, who is a good friend of mine, and that's how I kind of fell in with Charles. Is we were at the Western Hunt Expo, and we were talking about California hunting, and he goes, "Oh, my friend's got a ranch in Mariposa," and I'm like, "Mark Groupie?" And he's like, "Yep." And I'm like, "I go hunting with that guy." And he's like, "No kidding." And we just hit it off and became buddies. And he started knowing what I was doing and helped me out with my turkey banquet. And I offered my services to him whenever he needed it and gave me a call. And that's kind of how I landed that Howl documentary gig. So, it's just funny. It's just it all starts to compound. You meet one person, they know another person, they help you out. And as long as you're bringing and adding value to both the person that brought that connection and the person that you're connecting with, I mean, I think that's a huge thing. So I mean, it starts with just posting as best you can. I had no idea what I'm doing. I still hardly know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm just kind of like, oh, I got to just figure something cool to post and take some photos, and just do your best and try to be as consistent as possible. I've been slacking a lot lately with the posting on Valley Project, but when I do post consistently for like 2 or 3 weeks straight, my what's it called, the interactions and the views, or people visiting my page, like they go from, I think right now it's like 30,000 people a month. It'll like jump to like 200, and I'm like, dang, like I just posted like a dumb photo every day. And
Right.
it's just that consistency and finding a need and sticking with it, you know?
Yeah. Now, have you had any hate since you've been on social media?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
want to dive into that?
Yeah, I can. I mean, I don't want to put anyone on blast or anything,
No, you don't have to put
obviously,
them on
but
blast, but
you just be surprised at some of the people that that end up hating on you. And I feel like we're in a day and age where you can always talk to somebody. You know, if you have a real big problem with them, you can figure out a way besides just being a keyboard warrior. And just it turns in it's all stems from jealousy. I really feel people are jealous of what other people have, even if you are just like me. You know, I mean, yes, I hunt private, but I am by no means some expert badass hunter. I'm not. I'm very new. I feel like I'm very open about it. I do my best. I spend as much time in the field as possible, and I try to produce or capture the best content that I can. That doesn't make me better hunter than some guy that doesn't post a video. You know what I mean? Like that
right.
posting a video doesn't make you a better hunter. And at least with me, and what's sad about this guy that I'm more thinking about, and a few others in the past, is that they just hate because I'm posting content thinking I'm a badass. And in reality, it's like, no, this is for my business portfolio. Like I want to make money, like hunting and being in the outdoors, and like I
Right.
don't want to be the, golden child of California hunting and be some influencer and like I just want all the attention. Like that's not my goal. You can keep the fame. I just want to, build a career, start
Right.
my business. Yeah.
Well, and you're going to get that the further you go in social media with your career. You got to have haters. They're the ones that will always click on your stuff first. Always the ones that lurk in the shadow, and they're always good for a view.
And they share it. I've
And they
noted
will
I've
always
seen
share
I've
it.
seen I've seen some stuff where I know people that have hated on me are sharing my stuff, and it's
Hmm.
like interesting. Or I hear from somebody else like, oh yeah, this person, like, and I was like, really, that's interesting,
Hmm.
funny.
Yeah, you have to have them. You got to have them, and that's what's got to fuel you if you're going to do this on social media. Is the haters? It's the ones that want to be you but can't.
Yeah.
And which is baffles me because we should all be on the same team when it comes to hunting. We should be thankful for everybody. Be happy for everybody. But you will not get that if you post stuff. You'll get you're a poacher, you know, whatever, you hunt private or whatever it is. If you shoot a big deer, somebody gets jealous, somebody gets mad because they're either A, not hunting, or they're hunting and spending all their time on social media posting pictures of themselves in camp or driving around or pictures of like trees. And I'm like, well, are you hunting or are you just posting pictures of doing nothing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or they
So,
just don't know what they're doing and they're just mad that they can't find anything.
right, exactly. You know, I mean, for me, like when I got into social media, I had no social media until 2020, 2019 or 20. And obviously, when I decided to do full time hunting as a hunting guide, I figured I was like, I got to get social media to promote myself, obviously, to get people to want to go hunting. And, you know, it's worked out great for me in some ways, in other ways, not so good. You know, obviously, getting hired with Oakstone opened a lot of doors for me in my career. Obviously, working for a huge outfit like for Oakstone, uh, you know, got me a lot of social media presence. One thing that's worked for me that's worked really well in social media that I have to say is uh, using my story, not constantly filling up my feed. So like what I'll do is I post to my story a lot more than I would post to my feed, and then I make like a little icon that says like Oakstone or say Tejon. So when I'm guiding, I'll post it on my story, and then what I'll do is I'll tag people like California Hunting Addiction or California Outdoorsman, California Hunting Pursuit, California Forky Nation, Hunting California, Hunt California. those places. And then those guys will repost it. And then it just keeps getting reposted. So thousands of people will see your post. So, and then sometimes they'll repost it back on their page. And so it really helps, get eyes on people to see what you're doing. You know what I mean? And then that helped me out tremendously, because then I met Cody Plank through social media, and he was a guide at Tejon. And so then that was able to get my foot in the door at Tejon, and then guiding for Oakstone, Tejon, then guiding for myself, getting people to book me for draw tags, and guiding for Oakstone and guiding for Tejon, and then getting people to be like, oh man, I really like Preston. I want to hunt with Preston. So then people would book with either Tejon or Oakstone, or with just me to go on a hunt. And so it's worked out really well. And then on Facebook, joining those like California Trophy Hunter, California Pig Hunting, Deer Hunting, A-Zone, all those Central California A-Zone, or the Central Valley Hunting page. There's all kinds of different pages. Even on the turkeys, like the Northwestern Turkey Federation California page. I believe the Yelpers is yours, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So then tagging people, if you're wanting to market yourself in social media, is tagging yourself or tagging other people in your posts and having them repost it for you, because that just gets so many eyes on what you're doing. Now, obviously, if you're not in the business of making money or trying to, in social media, then I wouldn't. You can always repost it and tag people so people can see what you're killing, you know what I mean, and grow a page that way. Or, you just don't post anybody, you just post yourself and keep it private.
Exactly.
Some of the things I have noticed though is the hate. I've been accused of being a poacher. I shot a pig last year on public, a big giant boar, and I posted it, and it was 100% shot legally. And I heard through the grapevine that I shot it on an Oakstone. I shot it in a different area than what I said I did. Then I heard I shot it in the headlights. I was just like, it's a pig. Does it really matter? And, in the beginning, I used to get kind of angry. You know what I mean? I would get mad and comment back and get all pissed. And now I just laugh and I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. I get people that message me and will be like, well, why don't you say where you're at? Because I'm not in the business to be pimping out public land spots. If you want to know where to go hunting, do your own research. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Spend more time.
Yeah. But the problem is you get guys that'll post and be like, hunting A-Zone. I'm hunting this spot. Then I shot it in this area on this mountain. And then everybody's like, oh, really? And then everybody storms in there. And then they're like, oh, man, my spot got blown up. And I'm like, well, yeah, because you told everybody. I'm going to put him on blast. Obviously, he'll probably never see this. And if he does, I really don't care. But Randy Newberg, by far, in my personal opinion, has ruined public land hunting in the entire United States, hands down. And it really irritates me because he's constantly on free forums going, this is how you hunt Colorado. This is how you hunt Montana. This is how you hunt Nevada. Put in for these units. This is how you put in for it. And then they sit there and they go, oh, well, man, the public lands are getting, flooded. And it's now Colorado wants to go to draw for elk. You can't, they're talking about not buying it over the counter anymore. Well, I wonder why. We need everybody we can in hunting, but we can't house everybody.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so I think with social media, I think a lot of people have just pimped out public on using social media to get people to go, and then obviously making money. And then they can go buy landowner tags or go on a private land hunt, and they're just like, adios. And what they did is they just flooded the living crap out of our public lands. And some people are probably going to hate me for that. And I'm, rightfully so. I'm entitled to my own opinion, but I honestly feel like some of these YouTuber influencers have really ruined hunting, for public, where it's almost impossible now to get tags. Point creep is unbelievable.
I know of, one example that just came to my head as you were talking. I have a buddy, two buddies, two different stories, different guys, and I won't say their names just in case they do watch this. But one of them, he was hunting in another state, and a certain influencer uh, had killed an elk in that unit, and it had leaked. And my buddy went in there and he said, dude, it was an absolute zoo. And he
Right.
literally was like, he could not, you couldn't go anywhere. And he was like, he wasn't there because that guy killed an elk there. He was there because that was just a unit he hunted in the area that he liked to hunt. And this influencer came in and blew the spot up.
Yep.
Also, here in California, I have a buddy who killed an absolute giant public land buck and sent the picture around. And I'm not sure if we talked about this before, but sent the picture around, and the the picture had the location tagged, and that spot was blown out the next year, and he had killed two really nice bucks that one year, and that spot's forever ruined. I mean,
Yep.
people know that that big deer was there, and it's like everyone seems to forget that these big bucks, there's only one of them.
That
Like
buck is dead.
that buck's dead. Like, yes, there is a possibility of, a nice buck coming there, but that there's another possibility that the hill 4 miles away also is going to harbor that same kind of caliber of deer, but you're too focused on what used to be.
Right.
But still, like, it's just one of those things. And, everybody and their mother knew exactly where this guy killed his trophy buck. And it's unfortunate.
Well, and that's the problem with social media is people put landmarks and not thinking in the background. And there's a lot. It's crazy to me that the amount of cherry pickers on social media that spend more time going through photos and seeing landmarks to go to that spot than just doing their own research. And they have no excuses now. I mean, you've got all these different apps and things that you could use to figure out where you can go. And you don't need to use social media or piggyback off of somebody else's success. You know what I mean? So what I've learned real quick going from private to public, you know, not posting anything that you know exactly where I'm at. Because even though I don't post that, I always hear rumors through the grapevine that people are trying to figure out where I'm hunting. And it's like, and I know what'll happen if they show up. They will kill every little buck out of there. And I'm like, no, go hunt your own spots. You know what I mean? So like, that's one thing that I don't like about social media when it comes to hunting is I've almost got to a point now where I'm just not going to post my own stuff. You know what I mean? Like I'll
That's
post
hard.
just for gutting.
Exactly. That's tough. I
Right.
mean, like, all you're going to get is your kill shots.
Right. And so for me, like, I feel like, you know, I've had this conversation with friends before, and it's like when I told them that I don't want to, I thought about not posting my personal kills anymore. But it's like, then it sucks too, because it's like for me, it's like, well, then if I'm not posting, I'm not successful. Then I feel like people may not want to hunt with me as a guide because they're like, well, this guy's a guide and he doesn't ever kill anything. And it's like, well, I do. I just don't. I don't want people knowing where I'm going, and I don't want a bunch of people to show up where I'm going hunting. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's sad. I mean, I would love to share it with everybody, but I can't. You know what I mean? Like that's the problem. The more people to go in there, the less deer will be, and then that place will get blown out, and then I'll have to go find another spot, and I really don't want to go do that. You know, I think with social media, that's one downfall to social media is people forget that there's only so much room for hunters in each state. You know, and being from California, everybody already hates us as it is, anyways. You know what I mean? Going out of state. Most people, when you show up and they're like, "Where are you from?" California. They're just like,
Oh gosh.
I'm like, well, okay, I'm like, whatever, you know. But it's like I see like these influencer guys that have these YouTube channels, and it's just like, like the born and raised guys. I think what they do is a great thing, and I think they put out great content. I learned a lot from them when it came to elk hunting. But man, when they sit there and they tell you like you can do the same thing we're doing, you go to Colorado and you buy a tag over the counter, or you could put in for this unit as a leftover tag and you could draw it every single year. Well, then you can't anymore because now everybody's doing it, And so it's just making it harder and harder and harder, I feel like, to go, and more expensive. It's just getting more and more expensive to go out of state.
So what are your thoughts on like Go Hunt and the research tools that are coming out with, Go Hunt, Onyx, and that kind of stuff?
Man, that's a double-edged sword for me. I like them both. I use them. Uh, I feel like they made it a little easy for everybody to figure out how to do points. And then I think that has really ruined uh, units that used to be able to draw fairly easy. So like one of the units that I hunt in Colorado, you could draw it every 3 years. Now it's like 6, and that's because when you go on those deals, you go like on Go Hunt, it'll tell you like, okay, like this unit is good. It's got most public property, 170 plus bucks. You could draw it with 3 points. So then guys are like, oh man, all right. Well, we all have 3 points or 5 points. Let's put in for that unit. Well, then what happens is that it makes the point creep jump. So what used to take 2 to 3 points is now taking 5 to 6. Well, when you're in that 2 years, you're thinking, okay, next year I'm going to draw it. You won't. Now you're going to be 2 years behind for the rest of your life, and that unit's done, and you're never going to draw it because it just keeps going up and up and up and up. Like, a prime example, and I'll just say it now, but X5B in California, it used to take 12 points to draw that unit. It's taken 17 points now, and I'm at 17 points. So it took 18 points, is whatever it was. I'm one off of ever drawing it. I should have drawn it 5 years ago, but I'll never draw it because of the point creep. And obviously, because when you go on Go Hunt, you look and you say, oh man, they're shooting giant bucks out of X5B, and guys have max points and can't draw the G units. They go to the better X zones. And what maybe somebody in the old days would have known, you know what I mean? You could draw it pretty easy. But I think everything now is just relatively so easy, and it's so at our fingertips that it's just made it to where it's hard to draw tags, and everybody knows about every single unit.
Yeah. Like I have like, I only have a couple points for elk, deer, antelope in California. I think I have 3 points in each, and then bighorn sheep, obviously, just might as well put in, but I'll never draw anything. Like literally, I will probably never draw anything that I feel like is worth it. I don't want to just blow it on some, lame unit. And
right.
It's like, even if I had like 17 or 18 points, if you're not drawing it, whatever unit you want, like how the heck am I going to? That is like winning. That is actually winning the lottery.
It is. And, and like back in the day, it was all like these spots were all like your dad's spots and your dad's buddy's spots. You know what I mean? Like, or like a friend's told you about it. And that's how you kind of learn spots. Now, like I remember going out of state in 2006, was the first year I went to Montana. There was no Onyx. There was none of that stuff. Dude, like we had the paper map, and that's how we went around. You know what I mean? And just would sit there and study a map and be like, okay, well, let's go try over here. And not even knowing 100% sure, like, if we were legit or not. You know what I mean? Because, like, the map that we bought was 10 years old, but that was the newest map they had. So who knows? You know what I mean? And now, the one good thing about, like, having Onyx is now there's no excuse. Like, you know exactly where you're at all times. And one thing I do like about Onyx is, like when we used to hunt Montana, there was a-holes that would paint the fence post orange. So like back in the day, like we'd drive by and we'd see like these big bucks, and we're like, oh man, dude, too bad we couldn't hunt that private ranch. Come to find out, it was public. So it's like now with Onyx, that's one good thing that I do like is it keeps private property owners trustworthy now. Like they're not lying and saying like, oh, well, I own this little piece right here. It's like, no, you do not. That is public. I think it's within like 3 feet, and in my business, Onyx is a must. If you were to see my Onyx, it's unbelievable how many pins I have, like a funny
I
story.
think every hunter needs some sort of mapping tool.
You have to have it. You have to have it. Yeah. If you're gonna use it like the right way and to really learn where to go, Onyx is going to be your best friend. I mean, they have the best features. I like their uh, mapping feature better than any other else I've used. I mean, I use it for everything. That thing is a big part of my life. Obviously, being a hunting guide, I use it quite often. It makes
Yeah.
it really nice. Like too, like if you get a guide that's not really used to the ranch, like you can send them pins, share pins with them. You know what I mean? Like you can map out roads for them and say, "Okay, you're going to turn here, go straight, turn here, park right here," and then there's no excuse for them. Back in the day, you just be like, "Okay, you're going to turn and draw out a paper map." So now
Yeah.
it's like
You'll
they
see
got
that
it.
big tree with the rock
Mm-hmm.
under it and
Yeah,
then a
exactly.
stick that goes like this. And you're like,
Yeah,
really?
exactly.
How am I
Yeah,
supposed to find that?
yeah. you know so like I don't know, I feel like social media is a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, it's worked out good for me in marketing myself and getting in the right doors in the career that I wanted to take, especially in like for me being a guide for hire, you know and working for multiple outfits and for myself. You know what I mean? Like it's worked wonders for me, but it's also uh can cause problems. You know what I mean?
What are some of the other problems that have come up with social media for you?
uh Mainly just people just talking crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
they slide in the DMs and they run their mouth and they just want you to respond. Like I said, and I used to, and I just laugh now. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. I just like whatever. You know, I don't really care. Like I've had people that are like, I don't know why you make those reels. Those things are stupid. And honestly, I don't. I make them for two people, and that is my two boys. They love those videos. They think they are the coolest thing in the entire world. I could care less if anybody else likes them. I don't really care. Those are for my kids. You know what I mean? And like with the social media thing, like I think it's the one cool thing about it that I actually like is if something was to ever happen to me and was to die, my kids will always have some kind of video. They could be able to hear my voice or see what I did in my life. At least they have something of me. You know what I mean? Like our generation, like our parents back in the day, like if something was to happen to them, like they're just a memory. You know what I mean? You might have like if your parents were wealthy enough to have like a VHS recorder, you know what I mean? Like you had tapes, you know what I mean? But like other than that, you don't.
Your family photo albums.
Right. Now, like, our kids have video, audio, pictures, you know what I mean? They have everything. So for me, it's like, it's kind of cool to like, if something was to happen to me, then my kids can see like my little legacy that I have with them. You know what I mean? So like, that's why I make those videos and I like them just because my kids like them. Always tell me like, Dad, you're on TV. I'm like, I'm not on TV at all. That was filmed with an iPhone and I edited it on Instagram, and I added some music. But they think it's cool, and so that's
Yeah.
why, yeah,
And it's fun.
it's
And
fun.
I personally I like it. I think it's
Yeah,
fun. And like, yeah, like I'm not not trying to really like make everybody just like jaw drop at my videos. Like it's kind of just for me and I hope people
yeah,
like them and
like
it's
yeah,
just
and like
part of
social
it.
media with me is like I've met some really cool people along the way. Like I met you, my buddy Blaine Strone. Like he does a lot of filming stuff as well. We met through social media, and I considered him to be one of my best friends now. You know what I mean? Like another guy that I've never met personally, but this dude kills giant animals. Is he's up in Northern California? Is Zach Rasmussen? I don't know if you follow him or not, but
I think I've heard his name.
yeah, that guy kills giants, man. And we became friends just on social media. We both had the same passion for A Zone and uh, blacktail bucks. You know what I mean? And so, like for us, like we just hit it off on through social media. And I've met other guys that are guides in different states that that I've never met personally, but just are friends on social media. And so that's one good thing about social media. I think like being able to market yourself, you know what I mean? And uh, meeting people that have the same passion as you. But then along the way, you're going to meet assholes that are just jerks. And no matter what you
There's a
do,
lot of them, man.
there's a lot of them.
There's a
You
lot
know,
of them. There's a lot of them.
I've seen a lot of them in those pages.
I
The
stopped
group pages.
posting. I stopped posting on Facebook.
I wouldn't. I'd keep
I,
doing it.
I,
Who
I,
cares?
yeah, I just don't want to deal with it. You know, you get the same questions and like the same hate, like public or private, public or private. Oh, you did this wrong. Oh, you have this opinion. Oh, this thing. Oh, I hate this. I don't like how you did, you know, why didn't you, you took a picture, you walk up on your buck and you take a picture. Oh, your tag's not on the deer antler yet. Well, I haven't even touched the deer yet. Like, I
Right.
haven't, you know what I mean? Like, but people are going to call you out and like go, oh, you need to tag your buck and da. And it's like, I know I need to tag my buck. Chill out. I mean, like, sorry, I took a Snapchat of it. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's just like everyone needs to just like pretty much just mind your own dang business. Like it, go, congratulations, thumbs up. I don't
Yeah.
like that's all that I'd like, but you never get that. I mean, you get
No.
some people, and then you just get 15 guys that have their opinions that they think are important because their mom told them that they're special.
Right.
Like, you're not freaking special. Sorry, man. You're 45 years old or you're 68 years old. Like, your opinion on how I hunt it doesn't matter.
It's irrelevant. Exactly. Like there is one guy I will say right now, no matter how big or small it is, there's one guy that comes to mind that is always happy for you, and that is Justin Dowling. That guy, no matter what, it does not matter. It could be a 8-inch fork spike or a 250-inch deer. That dude is so pumped for you. Like he is always over the moon. Like that guy is so happy for everybody. Like that guy, like he's just a good human being. Like those are the guys that I wish that everybody on social media was like. Because the guy's just happy for everybody. Like every time I see him on any of these like social media forums, he's always just like congratulating everybody. From all races, shapes and sizes, women and men, like kids, it don't matter. He's just happy for whatever. You know what I
That's
mean? Like,
awesome.
yeah, and he's just a
I
super good dude.
recognize his name. I don't know him or anything like
Yeah,
that, but I've seen his name around.
yeah, he's one hell of an archer. That guy
There's
is legit.
there's some people that I've seen on Facebook that they post their videos and whatnot, and they use it as like a tactic to like rage bait people.
Oh yeah,
And I absolutely cannot stand that. I literally just like deer season came along, and I swear I try to not turn on my Facebook because it
yeah,
was just like, I mean, obviously I want to see the deer that are being killed because I want to see big bucks. I want to see what everyone's doing. Like,
hmm,
awesome. But man, I mean, there was just a couple guys that are very successful hunters, clearly. But why are you trying to piss off people and be a jerk and throw it in everybody's face? And it's like that's not like beneficial to the hunting community. You give us a bad name, you're just making yourself look like an idiot.
Well,
And
there was a really controversial video that Gray Light Hunter posted. I don't know if you saw it. It was the one where he killed that buck 2 years. I think it was 2 years ago, with his bow out, and he obviously snuck in there and he stuck it again, and he videoed the sunset as the buck slowly just expires, and you can see his head just fall in the dirt. Me personally, I actually liked it. I thought it was a cool shot. You know, it was kind of like the last thing that buck saw before he died. You know what I mean? Like went out as a warrior. Obviously he outsmarted him and he killed him. But boy, did he get a lot of hate for it. A lot of guys were like, "You should never have posted that. That is stupid. You're giving us a bad name." And I'm like, well, I feel like social media is art, and art's not, and
yeah,
not everybody's art's for everybody. I personally liked it. I thought it was a great shot. I thought it was a great capture of the moment. Um, it showed what hunting is. It's raw,
I
and
think that's an
it's
interesting shot. I mean, I'm not recalling the video. I need to look at that.
yeah,
But, to me, like, I personally do not like filming an animal while it's suffering, so to speak.
right.
Obviously, I don't know what that video that deer was dying, not probably not suffering as like you hear with like pigs squealing or like
No,
frantically trying to
this
live.
thing wasn't like jumping around or anything, dude. It was
No,
literally just
it's just laying its head down and he got a cool shot of it, and like, you know,
right.
he's not, I don't feel like he was being disrespectful to the animal, and that
No,
if it crosses that line, I mean, it's a very, you know, it's almost a, I mean, it is a moral question. I mean, you're not going to post if somebody, if a client takes a bad shot on a hog and you're filming it,
no,
you're either cutting the video or you're filming all the way through and editing the video. You're
correct.
not going to sit there and film this hog squealing and crying, and it's like nobody wants to see that. I hate seeing that.
No, I would never post a video that's going to be distasteful to hunting. I mean, obviously, I've seen everything from quick kills to just stuff that it's just like this. This is brutal. Like this is bad, you know. And but it's part of hunting, and some people want people to see that, and some people don't. I feel personally that that kind of stuff does not need to be on social media due to the fact that we have people that do not like hunting, no matter what you post, and that just adds fuel to the fire, you know. But
Yeah.
you know, I feel like we should have everybody should have the right to do that. You know what I mean? They should, as long as it's not illegal. If they want to post it, post it. And if you don't like it, scroll through it.
Unfollow. Yeah.
Unfollow.
Unfollow, scroll. I don't give a hoot.
Yeah. You know, that's one thing that irritates me about like Instagram is, you know, as us as hunters, you could post a video and I'll watch like the views on it and it's just climbing. You know, I'll get like 1,000 views in an hour. And I'm like, oh man, this thing is climbing. All of a sudden it just disappears. No more views, no nothing, never gets in the algorithm. But then you'll get a guy, like that's one thing like what's weird about social media is like, you know, because it's killing, people don't like it. You know, but then you get a guy that pretends to be a woman and puts makeup on and he gets 1,000,000 views. And it just keeps getting thrown in the algorithm just over and over and over and over. And it's
That's
like,
not a coincidence, my friend.
no, no, no. Because actually, I was with one of the guys that worked for Instagram one time and I asked him about it. And he was hunting. And I asked him about it. I said,
Probably very quietly too.
yeah. And I asked him, I said, how come that when I post a video on social media on Instagram, it starts climbing in views and then it just plateaus and then just peters out? Well, that's not true. That doesn't happen. I'm like, yeah, it does, dude. I was like, I know why it is because it has to do with killing an animal. And then you have to put all these age restrictions on it. And it's like, dude, it's not showing anything that's bad. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing distasteful about what I'm doing. You know
And
what I
but
mean?
see here, it's all perspective. Like I've posted a couple videos of like, you know, skinning a hog. I tried that in the very beginning of when I was starting Valley Project. I wanted to kind of show the butchering process kind of thing. Well, that did not fly. I mean, I was getting flagged.
Yep.
And I actually, it was right at the time, right after the Go Hunt guys came out, and my videos, they went from, you know, getting, you know, thousands and thousands of people looking at them to then like 4,000 people. And I was like, what? How'd I go from like 70 or 80 or 100,000 to like 4 or 5? And Lane was talking to me, the marketing director, and he's like, hey, like FaceTime me. Let's go on your Instagram right now and check your settings. And he scrolls down to, I gotta recall, I don't recall what exactly tab it was, but it was in your system preferences thing. And he was like, "Oh yeah, click on this tab," and popped up, and he goes, "Look, you're flagged in all these videos." And what they've done is because you haven't fixed those, they're actually prohibiting the people that view your
Mm,
posts. And I was like, "No kidding." And he goes, "We have this problem all the time where I forgot what percentage, I like, you know, let's say 25% of our posts actually end up getting taken down after a week or two because they're not in code with Instagram. And so they have to either manually go in and change the music or change clips or whatever on these posts and just hope that they get reviewed and put back up. But you can't just have them review every single one because you disagree with it. You have
right.
to like review it, have them review it, and then wait like a week or two per post.
No, see, it's a nightmare.
Oh, it's a nightmare. And it's
Yeah.
like, wait a second, if you're posting every single day and you're getting flagged every other post, like you're never going to catch up. You just got to delete them
Well, people were
and
telling me
figure it
like
out.
you should get on TikTok, and I'm like, all right, I'll try it. So I got on there. I didn't even make it to a video or a post,
It was
and
fun.
I got a strike for
Yep.
my profile picture of me with a pig. And I'm like, man, delete. I just deleted it. I'm like, if
TikTok's
I
hard.
can't, yeah, I'm like, if I can't even put a picture of myself, and with obviously why I'm getting TikTok was to post hunting videos. Like if I can't even do a profile picture and get a strike, I'm like, dude, I didn't even make it out of the gate. I stumbled right out of the gate. Gate open, I fell, and I was like, yep, I'm done. I'm just going to count that one up as a
Not
loss.
even worth it. You're
No,
done.
no,
Yeah, I'm out.
yeah. Social media it's an odd thing to navigate. It'll definitely make you thick skinned. You know, people people just are brutal online because they don't see you face to face. They're not going to tell you to your face. They would rather just slide in the DM. It's like, if you're going to slide in the DM and just be an asshole, like do it online. Do it so everybody can see it. Like,
or if you can see the person, like say it to my face. Like if
Right.
you have a question or a problem, talk to me. Like
Yep.
I'm not an unreasonable guy. If you had a question of like, do you really think you're a badass hunter? Is that like what you're doing? No, man. I hate to break it to you. I just like taking pictures of bucks and filming turkey hunts and shooting pigs. Like
You could do the same.
you
Go
can do
get
the
a
same
camera
thing.
and go do the same thing.
And I'm no better or no more special than you are. I'm
Yeah.
just doing what I like to do and
Yep,
documenting
exactly.
it. That's
Yep.
all I'm doing.
It's the way using social media now, like it's just like I said, it's a weird dynamic. It's a double-edged sword because it works really well and it works really bad. And then I know buddies that use social media, but they're on private and they do not promote at all and do great in their business, and it's all through word of mouth. And then, you know, obviously using a little bit of social media, you know what I mean, for a little bit of marketing, but not like
Yeah, they're not
posting all the
pumping
time.
content to
Right.
Have you have you experienced any or a lot of haters with not through social media, like close family, friends when you were first starting your business?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I get
Really?
all the time. I get must be nice. Must be nice to get to do what you like what you love to do. And I tell everybody it is. You should try it. You know what I mean? What people don't realize is the years that I did it part-time, and then the first year that I did it, I didn't even make enough to survive, to be honest with you. I mean, I made no money, but that's put a lot of work and a lot of hard work, and time, blood, sweat, and tears, you know what I mean, to get where I'm at. You know, lost people over the years, of friends and a wife and other things to get where I'm at. You know what I mean? And I don't regret any of it. And, you know, when I started this career, I got a lot of people that were in my corner, and I had a lot of people that were not. I had a lot of people go, "This is stupid. Like, you're never going to make anything. You're never going to make any money." And then when I proved them wrong, then it was like, "Well, it must be nice." It's like, well, dude, you could do the same. If you want to be a hunting guide or you want to be in the hunting industry, then do it.
Yeah,
You know what I
figure it
mean?
out.
Figure it out.
It's not easy, and like that's one of the biggest things that I've learned over this past, been in business with my Valley Project, or my VP Creatives, like the actual media company, been 7 months, and it's like the amount of time I've spent figuring it out and like trying to make it work to get into the industry is longer than 7 months. It's been about almost 2 years.
Right.
And it's like I still haven't even scratched the surface of anything yet,
Yeah.
I'm just starting to get going now after almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And people are, I've had quite a few conversations with some individuals, and I've been told like, "Oh, wow, I didn't think you had it in you." And I'm like, "Really? Really? You didn't think I had it in me when I said I was going to go, try to figure this out and try to make some money from, filming hunts and outdoor stuff. And they were like, yeah, honestly, I didn't think you had it in you. I thought you would give up after a couple weeks. And I was like, wow. And literally that conversation rings in my freaking head every single day. And I'm like, I tell my fiance, I'm like that conversation, this conversation, those individuals, I see them every day. And she's like, Mason, that's a problem. Like, and I'm
No,
like,
it's not.
yeah, it
It's
could
a
be
drive.
considered that, but I am so driven because
Mhm.
I want them to go, oh shit, like
Yep.
you remember when I thought that? Like how crazy. Like,
Oh yeah.
and I just, dude, and I have a hard time putting those words aside. Like if somebody says something to me, it just freaking eats at me. And that's what's hard with social media when somebody does, because, you know, you haven't known me for, extremely long time, but I'm what is it? Just over a year and a half sober. I don't drink anymore. I was an angry dude. If I was drinking, I was angry. And I was just always on edge. And man, I could feel myself like, lashing out to people all the time. And that was what I did. And now that I quit drinking, I mean, everything has changed.
Oh
And I
yeah.
still get those urges. And I'm like, but finally I'm able to like take a step back and go, it's okay. That
Yep.
person means nothing, or their opinion means nothing. They're living their, miserable life clearly,
Yeah.
and they just want to put me down.
Like once you can learn in your life when you navigate through social media or anything that has to do with a spotlight on you, you're going to have naysayers. And it's like, what's the quote? It's like, if you weren't going to ask for their opinion in the first place, like when they give it to you, like what does it really matter? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm not asking for your opinion. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like
No.
if you don't like my reels, I don't give a shit. If you're going to make fun of me for making them, I don't care. I could care less. If I did, I wouldn't keep making them. If you don't like them, don't watch them. Who gives a shit? I don't. You know what I mean? Like I don't care. Like I follow other outfitters. I see what they're doing. I could give two shits what anybody else is doing. What I care is what we do at Oakstone and what we do at Tejon. That is it. I don't care what other people are doing in any other outfit. I don't care what people are like. Oh, did you see what so and so at this outfit did? No, I really didn't. I don't care. You know why? Because that doesn't do any. It doesn't pertain to me. What I care about is what I'm doing in my life at that exact moment, and I don't care about what anybody else thinks. And if you're going to get into this industry, you cannot be thin-skinned at all, because you're no matter how as you become more and more successful, whether that's in your career or doing whatever, and then you make a lot of money and you can afford to buy hunts, people are going to be naysayers. They're going to tell you like online, oh, well, you can afford to pay for those things, so you're not a real hunter. You'd be doing the exact same thing if you made the exact same money that guy makes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Or the guy
Have you had private ranch to hunt? You'd
you
be
would
hunting
jump
it
all
too.
over it. Exactly. You know what I mean? And then on top of that too, it's like if you get the guys that are diehard public land hunters that are doing it and consistently killing animals, you're going to get guys that are just going to hate on you.
Oh, it must be nice to have a flexible job and be able to take a month off to go hunt.
Yeah, or you're lucky.
Mule deer. And
exactly.
It's like, yeah, I decided to work, a government job so I could get enough time and pension to be able to go, spend 2 months in the hills. Like,
yep. Or you get a guy that doesn't get any hate, but he's a really good, successful hunter. And then you've just got all these people online that are just like, where's he going? Where's he going? And then they see that person and they're like, oh, I know you from this group page or whatever. And then they're like, oh, so this is where you hunt. And there's like, gosh, dang it, dude. Like I was talking to a buddy of mine. He doesn't get really any hate at all, but he has had problems where he's been out on the mountain and somebody recognizes him and goes, oh, you're from that page. I know you. So this is where you hunt. And he's like, God damn it. And then he's like, shit, now I got to figure out where else. I got to go to somewhere else now because this spot's going to get blown out. So it's like, you got to toe the line. What do you really want out of it? Are you wanting bragging rights? Because if you're going to do social media for bragging rights, be prepared. People are going to, especially if you're hunting public, they're going to figure out where you're at. If you're trying to market yourself like what we're doing with a podcast and the guiding and the filming with what you're doing, then it's a great avenue to take. But if you are doing this to want to be like, look at me,
Yeah.
people are going to look at you. And when they do
You're
that,
gonna get looked at.
you're going to get
That's for
looked at.
sure.
And it's going to take one person to see you out on that mountain and know who you are, and then go, now I know exactly where he hunts. And then they're going to tell everybody.
Yep.
I feel like social media is really helped and has really hurt hunting.
My dad, when I first started Valley Project and stuff, and as things were starting to catch on. I mean, obviously, I didn't have any contracts or anything. It was just like I was getting a lot of views and doing the YouTube and trying to get the ball rolling on things. And he was like, "So are you gonna?" I just got a new truck at the time, and he's like, "You want me to get you like a Valley Project sticker to put on the back of your car?" And I'm like, "You want me to put a target on my back?" And he's like,
no.
"What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Dude, like, no, not at all. Because if I drive anywhere and someone sees Valley Project on the back of my truck, they're going to then know probably who it is. It's going to be me or it's going to be Travis for the most part, or, a close friend, probably. And it's like, you don't want any of that kind of publicity." And he's
No.
like, "Oh, I never thought about that." And I'm like, "Yeah, it would be cool, but like, I'd rather just be quiet. Like, I, I don't want any of that attention. I don't need it."
No. I mean, like for me, like I don't have anything on my truck that says hunting at all. I don't have a sticker anywhere because I don't want people to know where I'm at or what I'm doing, especially now that I hunt public. You know what I mean? Like I don't need people, blowing my spot out.
Yeah.
But
I've got a generic truck,
yep.
common color, no stickers. It's like,
Yep.
if you figure out, you must know the dent on the side of my truck,
Yeah, exactly. My truck looks like everybody else's truck.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? It's just like
I'm a working man.
I'm a working man. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I feel like if social media is helped me out a lot in my career as far as the marketing part of it. I get a lot of people that message me. A lot of them will be like, "Hey, like I obviously want to book a hunt, and I should say, I mean, I haven't had that much hate in the last few years. I think most people,
you have a very good reputation. You have a very good reputation. People like you.
I hope so.
And you educate, you help people out. You're always active on, Instagram and Facebook and, everything else that you can do. And yeah, you're just an all around good dude. So like for people to hate and like, that's, I just remembered, as I was starting to get into this stuff, Mark Groupie helped me out, and he had started the community show. I don't know if you ever watched that on YouTube. He has a couple really, really good videos out. Highly recommend seeing them. They're older now. I mean, 6 years old to 10 years old, but he was doing pig hunts and filming for quite a while before it really caught on. And I was asking about all the haters that he was getting, because I was starting to get some of that. I'm like, what do you do? And like, you hunt private for the most part. Like, how do you combat that? And he goes, well, I just try to be as active on Facebook. I try to give hunts when I can. I try to have people always, have a good taste in their mouth when they talk about me or think of me, and they'll go to bat for you online. So if somebody talks smack online and says, "Oh, Mark screwed me over," this is a hypothetical situation, he'd have 15 guys on Facebook going, "Nah, Mark did not. Like, you're the problem. Like, we know what happened." And I feel like you have created that atmosphere for yourself, which is great. And I hope to eventually get to that level where I have some, good friends that obviously would defend me if, a situation were to arise, but true fans and like people that like just, you know, don't that like follow you, not just your mom and your brother and whatever your family, but
Right.
like outside of that initial group to defend, like I hope to do that someday and have
Oh,
that.
and you will. You know what I mean? Like that. I have some followers on Instagram that are I've never met in my life, and they're always like super pumped for whatever I'm doing, and it's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like I I'm greatly appreciative of it. But you are going to get hate, and I've noticed there's guys that just get eaten alive on social media, and I was one of them. Like, here's a good example. I'm not going to say his name, but there was a guy that posted a picture of a buck on a social media platform, and it was a little buck, and he got a lot of hate. And I liked a few comments that were, hateful. Uh, he personally called me and was like, "Hey, dude, like that was kind of jacked up." And I told him, I said, "Well, hear me out. I agree with those people." I was like, you already shot a buck this year, and using the I want the meat kind of goes out the window. You already got meat. You know what I mean? Like, and I told him, I said, those little bucks will make it through the winter. Bigger bucks have a hard time going through the winter. So if you went to a unit that you saw that was not doing well, then instead of just shooting a little buck, like, why didn't you just let it go? You've killed over 100 deer. Like, you didn't need to shoot that deer, you know? And that's where social media kind of got me in trouble one time. Obviously, it didn't ruin a friendship, and he understood where I came from. We, respectfully just disagreed with each other. We just agreed to disagree. You know what I mean? And, and I told him, I said, I still stand by what I believe in. You know what I mean? We're still good buddies, and I have no ill will to him, and nor does he to me. But, like, that's one thing that'll get you on social media. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
Or somebody may not like somebody, and then they're like, "Why do you follow that guy?" Or "Why do you talk to that guy?" And it's like, well, just because you don't like him doesn't mean I don't have to like him. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
you know, I don't care. You know, like that gray light hunter guy. I don't know him, but boy, does he get a lot of hate. But he also gets a lot of people to like what he does, and he kills big bucks.
Kills
You know what I
big
mean?
bucks. He gets to hunt for a living essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, I feel like is what he probably does. He's starting his own clothing brand. The dude has grown his name. He's starting his own company. I mean, he's doing things like how
Yeah,
like hate him all you want, but the dude's doing something right. I
he's
mean,
marketed
if he's
himself great.
and that's all you can like. There's a couple guys I don't agree with and I follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and I almost cringe when I see their videos. And but I follow them because they kill big stuff. They do good. They get film good content, like no hate to their content. There's just some things that they do that I despise. But am I going to go comment on their photos or pictures or videos? Like, nah, dude,
No.
my time is way more important than trying to ruin somebody's day,
Mm-hmm.
or just throw that out negative energy into the world. Like, there's no
Right.
reason for that. To each their own.
Yeah. So, like, with anybody that's listening to this that wants to get into like the marketing and social media and like stuff like that for themselves, like, it's a great avenue to get yourself, uh, you know, to get, you know, what's it called? Like get in bed with all these like different brand names, as far as knives or guns or camo. But in this industry, if you're wanting to use social media, you have to kill stuff, and big stuff sells. And if you're a guy that doesn't kill a lot of animals or doesn't kill big stuff, it's really hard to to market yourself in the social media. You know what I mean? Like, if you're wanting to go the route of getting like, hookups, and being sponsored by different brands, you know what I mean? Like, you take Lucas Paul, for example. He's from Paso Robles, originally from Montana, actually moved back to Montana. I never met the guy. I don't know him personally, but I know him through social media. And the guy has marketed himself love him or hate him, he's marketed himself great. I mean, he's, works for Hunting Full now, and, is in bed with Kuyu, and was it Hogue Knives, and
Hogue Knives, yeah.
Yep. And does stuff with like Chad Mendez, and like he's
gets to travel the world.
And he started off just hunting public like the rest of us. He just marketed himself correctly and got in bed with the right people, made the right connections, and capitalized on them. So if you get an opportunity through social media, it's like the saying goes, either shit or get off the pot. Like if you get it, do it. Like, and then go and move forward with it and just keep going. You know what I mean? But you have to like send out those messages to people and try to get in there with them. And you know what I mean? And you're going to get a lot of left on reds.
Add value.
Exactly. You have to add value. Like I said, whether that's just having a good personality, or, you know what I mean, making cool videos, or killing big shit. Like you have to, one of those things, you know what I mean? Because if you're not doing any of those, you're just another face in the crowd.
Yes, sir. Awesome. Well, we will, we'll have another podcast next week, and yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Thank you again.